joining us today for Cooking Crave. Today we are going to be making a cheese vegetable soup, and here is my mother Laverne to show us the recipe and how to make this hearty soup that will be so delicious in the upcoming cold months.
Okay, we're going to start with a big skillet here, or kettle. I put about 6 to 8 cups of water in here, and I've already got it boiling. And we're going to start with, I did chop celery and carrots, and I'm going to just put that in there. And approximately it was about 3 cups of celery and 3 cups of carrots. And again, you can make that to your taste. You know, you can add more or you can have less. There, and I'll put that in. And I put the carrots and celery in first because it does take a little bit longer for the carrots and celery to get soft versus the potatoes. So I'm putting that in there. And then I chopped up a medium-sized onion, so we're going to put that in.
Now, you're using different types of vegetables here. Now, is this something that you can vary up yourself? Have you tried different vegetables other than the carrots, the celery, and the onion?
Personally, I have not. I've always just kind of stuck with the basic vegetables that are easy to find here. But you know, in your summer seasons, you could probably add like zucchini or rutabaga or any vegetable that you like. It's just a matter of preference and taste.
Okay.
So I would, you know, experiment. You find out what your family likes and that. And so we're going to put about 2 teaspoons of salt in there, approximately.
Do you have a little measuring on your hand, a little line that tells you what 2 teaspoons are? Because in my house, I have to use a little spoon that tells me exactly.
Well, I do have some measuring spoons. They are in the drawer, but very seldom do I use them. It's just something that I've learned. When you're cooking, you just know kind of that approximate and can work with that. And it's one less thing to wash up.
Well, you could tell who cooks more in this family. It would be my mother, and again, there's a lot of people like me out there that do have to use the actual utensil that says 1 cup, 2 cups, or 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon.
And it's pretty hard to mess up something like this. And like I said, you're better off starting with a little less seasoning, because you can always add, but you can't take it out and that. So, and although the original recipe just said pepper and salt to taste, I like a little seasonal, and it just gives a little extra flavoring. So I just go ahead and shake a little bit of that in there. It's got a nice aroma to it too. So and like I said, it's a basic seasonal. So we're going to let that come to a boil, and we'll cook the carrots and celery probably for about 5-10 minutes before I add the potatoes. But while that's cooking, we can start a white cooking sauce that we use to put in to the soup once the vegetables are cooked.
Okay.
So I'm going to...
And again, just to let the viewers know, because I don't think that we talked about this, this is on high, as it does need, the water did need to come to a boil, and you're going to remain cooking on high until the vegetables are tender. Actually,
with a burner like this, a stove, when it comes to a boil, I turn it down because you have a good high heat already without having to have it on high. It's best not to. You know, it's good just to turn your oven, or excuse me, the burner down to about medium heat.
Okay.
And that once it starts boiling, it's going to keep going. So.
Okay.
Now for the white sauce, we're just going to take a regular saucepan here. We're going to add 1 stick of butter. You can use margarine too. So we're going to put that on. And I'm going to put the burner on to probably more to a medium heat, because you don't want the butter to scorch.
Okay.
So we're going to have that in there, and we're going to let that butter melt in there. And again, being I'm going to be working with making a white sauce, we put butter in there, and then we're going to stir in flour. And again, I really like this utensil because it really mixes well versus a spoon. Nice and flat, covers the bottom of the pan, so you don't have that scorching.
Okay.
So
we'll get that started. And it doesn't take very long for this butter to melt.
No, it does not. Soups are great winter dish. You know, they're easy to make. You make a big batch, you can warm them up for lunch, and you have that, and it's good for the body. Warms you up when you're out there in the cold.
That is definite.
Especially where you've had to shovel a little bit more. Nothing better to come in after shoveling your driveway and being able to have a hot bowl of soup.
Now, is this a recipe that you have started yourself, or is this a recipe that you've gotten from a friend or a family member?
Actually, I got this from one of my sisters. She lives in Williston, Jo Hayden, and that's where I learned to make this particular soup from.
Okay.
So the butter is almost melted here. So then now we're going to just, about a half a cup of flour. You just put that in, and you just stir that into your butter.
And you want to stir this constantly so it doesn't stick to the burner?
Yes.
Or scorch, okay.
And now we're going to pour in 4 cups of milk, and I need to get the milk out of the fridge. Okay. So just slowly add the milk and keep stirring. And that will thicken up as the milk heats up. It's not going to be real thick, but you just want a little thickness to that, so when you do add it to your soup, because you do not drain your vegetables. You have the water that's in there is going to stay in there, and the white sauce is just added to that.
Okay.
And again, you know, you work with this, you learn how you can adjust your recipe to your taste and that. And actually, you know, if you like a little bit heartier soup, a little bit more base to it, you can have pre-cooked ham, cube ham, and when everything is done, you can actually put some ham into the cheese soup too.
Oh, okay.
And that's just a little variation from just the vegetables.
So as that's cooking up now, the vegetables are starting to boil here, as I see. Is this something that we need to start adding the potatoes now?
We can do that because those are boiling really well. We'll just add that. And again, I used about 6 medium potatoes, and just dice them up and cube them to your preference. I don't make my vegetables real large. My family likes them a little bit chopped smaller, so now it just needs to cook, and that'll probably take about 20 minutes, maybe till the vegetables are soft.
Okay.
And by then we'll have our white sauce done. I did turn the burner down a little bit because you don't want your milk to scorch. And with using stirring, it's already nice and smooth. It's not lumpy at all. So we're going to take the Velveeta cheese. You can use, if you like cheddar cheese, you can use several cups of shredded cheddar cheese if you like a little bit more cheese flavor.
Okay. Now, I forgot to ask, when you were adding the milk, Laverne, is it something that you made your milk yourself, or can you just use milk right out of the carton?
I did just use milk out of the carton, and again here you can use your instant milk, and you know, versus milk from a jug or from a carton. So whichever is what you have.
Okay, whatever's most convenient.
Great. And I'm going to use about a pound. I've got a 2-pound block of Velveeta cheese here, and I'll use about a pound of that. So what I do is I just take the cheese slicer and I just make slices and just put it into the into the white sauce, and it'll melt from there. And it's good just to cut it. It'll melt a little bit faster without, you don't want to put the whole block in without cutting it up a little bit.
Okay. Now, I know that there's different types of Velveeta cheese that you can get out there. Would you recommend, if you wanted a little bit spicier soup, to get a little bit spicier cheese? Do you think that would be something that would be a good idea?
Well, I've not ever tried it myself. I'm sure that it would be good, you know, and it would just make it a little bit spicier, because I know that there's kind of a Mexican flavored Velveeta cheese in there but like I said, you won't know until you try.
Okay, but that would be a variation if some of our viewers do like to have a little bit spicier. That's something that you can certainly try in your own home. And please email us to our website if that's something that you did try and you did enjoy, so we can let everybody know about that.
Okay, that's right. So now we're going to just leave that on low heat, because there's no reason to really speed that up to melt it quickly, because it takes a while for this. So you can just turn your burner down a little bit lower and just let that melt, and stir it occasionally so it mixes up and it doesn't burn. Okay, well, our vegetables are about soft here, and when you're looking into the kettle here, you can see that we have quite a few vegetables. It just makes it a real meaty or stock soup here. And like before, I told you that you could add some ham. This is about the time I would add the ham. You know, just add the ham in there. It's already pre-cooked. All you're going to do is needing to warm that up if you would like to use ham. And now we're just going to add our cheese sauce here.
That does make a very full kettle.
Yeah, we got it to the brim, don't we?
Okay, and then you just want to mix that up well.
Just stir that. And if you like a thicker soup, you know, you can make a little bit thicker white sauce. Add a little bit more flour to the white sauce, but we like a little bit more thinner soup. We don't like it too thick, but some cheese soups out there are very thick, and so it's just a matter of preference. So once we've done this, it is ready to go. You know, we can turn the burner off and it's done. So you can just set that on the table and have a nice hearty lunch or supper.
Well, and this is something that, like you said, it is a hearty soup because you do have all the vegetables in there. You got potatoes again, carrots, celery, onion, and so this is something that definitely will fill you up on the cold winter days, plus warm you up at the same time. So we were just going to put some in a bowl, show you the finished product, and this is something that we added salt and pepper and seasonal again when we were cooking the vegetables. But if you want more pepper, more salt, this is the perfect time to add it to your taste. And again, this is just a perfect winter meal. Actually, I like it in the summer too. Anytime you want to have a nice bowl of soup, I do recommend this soup. Again, it's vegetable cheese. And you can find this recipe along with other recipes we have done on the Cooking Crave show at Consolidated's website, www.ctctel.com. And if you have a recipe that you would like to submit and see on the Cooking Crave show, please go to our website and do that as well. And I would again like to thank my mother Laverne for sharing her recipe and opening her home to the Cooking Crave show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on Cooking Crave.